What's up, y'all? Welcome to Elite Growth and Improvement. Today we're going to be talking about rugby versus hockey. Now, for my American folk, you might not be as familiar with either sport. Shoot, I had to do research for myself. But if you have played rugby or field hockey in the past, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. Anyways, y'all, welcome back to another video on which sport has the fittest athletes. If you haven't had a chance to check out last week's video, I basically talked about the importance of motivation, so be sure to check it out after this. But let's not waste any more time and dive into rugby. It was originated in the mid-19th century in England, so relatively new, but it did get split up into two categories. One being rugby union, played by 15 players, and the other being rugby league, played by 13. The objective for both is the same though, by grounding the ball on the opposing side's line. Now the rules are different when talking about American football and some other things as well, like passing and the gear worn during the matches. They predominantly wear less protective gear than some of the other contact sports, and the players thrive off physical attributes and tactical awareness. Now, growing up, I never touched rugby, and honestly, I'm glad that I stuck to track because the amount of injuries that could be caused from rugby is ridiculous. But I have to give credit where credit is due. These athletes normally have incredible strength to push through people, especially when running down the field. And that's definitely going to count when it comes to muscles work. So when looking at the muscles used in rugby, it's mainly lower body like quadriceps, hamstrings, but the sport does consist of all muscle groups too, especially when talking about tackling, passing, and running with the ball. Speed and power are the most looked at qualities when it comes to rugby athletes as a whole. So if it is a sport that you're actually interested in, weightlifting sounds like it will be the ideal thing to do to get your body in the right shape. Another thing I noticed, those that are already in powerlifting could find some fun in this sport as well. Not saying that bodybuilders can't or anything, it's just when you're talking about this type of strength, it's more so centered around powerlifting than bodybuilding and CrossFit. Anyways though, I'm gonna give rugby a fitness rating of 8.5 out of 10. I'm leaning heavily towards 9, but with 13 to 15 players, you can get away with having some players with a little bit more body fat, which would technically help the game's objective, but at a fitness standpoint, it could hold them back when it comes to stamina and endurance. Next up though, we have field hockey. Now, I haven't played field hockey or ice hockey, so if I miss out on any key details, feel free to let me know down in the comment section. But field hockey is a team sport played on artificial turf, with two teams of 11 players aiming to hit the ball in the other team's goal. They play for about 60 minutes divided into 50-minute quarters, and field hockey is predominantly known for having a female audience, but it isn't gender specific due to there being men and women that play that sport worldwide. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I was doing my research for this video, field hockey looked like an amazing game to play with friends. It also looks like it will take a lot of skill, balance, and agility to thrive in that sport. Its brother sport though, ice hockey, is also really popular. Being played on a rectangular ice rink, Canada is one of those countries that are really popular for its ice hockey. And the first thing that stood out to me with this sport specifically is the fighting. Like, I'm talking about full-on brawls in the ice rink. I'm like, how some of these players keep their balance, I will never know. But I'm getting sidetracked. So let's look at the muscles used for field hockey. And that is indeed all of them. It's another sport primarily focused on legs, but all muscles are used, the least being the chest. There is an added factor when talking about ice hockey specifically though, and that is balance. Compared to some of the other sports that I've compared in my other videos, hockey doesn't need as quick of a reactive time as table tennis, but it sure does need more stability than track. So I think that is a good time for me to get into the results. Muscles worked is gonna be a tie. Both sports use all muscle groups, so I can't really give a leg up to either one. And performance though, it goes to both again. This is another tie because rugby focuses on strength and pure power, while hockey is speed, agility, coordination. They're both really performance based in their own right, so that's why I have it as a tie. Stamina was tough as well, but the biggest factor for this one was the fact that rugby is a little bit more of a combination when it comes to acceleration and agility, so I'm going to give hockey this one. And reaction times going to hockey as well. Strength was honestly the easiest gets to determine though. That's going to rugby, of course. And lastly, we have difficulty. Based on the average person playing either sport for 10 minutes, I would say that rugby is a little bit more difficult, especially if the person isn't conditioned to get hit. So in total, we have a draw. Now this hasn't happened yet, but both sports, I would say, has what it takes to be considered the fittest athletes, but we'll have to see that later in round 2. Anyways, y'all, thank you so much for checking out my video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know down in the comment section below if you've either played rugby or field hockey. And also be sure to have an amazing, blessed day. All right, y'all. See you.